I can't forgive him. He killed my mom, and she was a werewolf. I also found out that the girl was a werewolf who had trespassed onto our territory. I've seen him since a young age bring werewolf women in to rape them and then dispose of their lifeless corpses. It's disgusting. But for some reason, when I saw you today, I felt connected to you. Not in a mate kind of way, but more like in a brotherly way. My wolf in that moment told me I was your guardian, and you were extremely important in the war that is coming. Jenna, I want to help you. Will you let me? He asked with hope filling up his orbs. Yes, I smile. He had told me his past, and that's not easy, and knowing that he tells me and not anyone else makes me happy. Maybe I could trust him with my life. But wait, why did you hurt me? I asked with furrowed eyebrows. My dad doesn't know I'm supposed to protect you, so he forced me to go to Quinn, the man who attacked you, and help him. I had to, and I'm sorry. It's all right, I just needed to know. I waved off dismissively. Partners? He asked with hand out. I shook my head and saw his face fall. Not partners. Family, I responded with a toothy smile. His eyes shine with happiness, and he pulls me in a hug. I return it gladly, and I start to think that whatever happens, I will have someone to protect me everywhere I go. Whether it be my guardian, Luke, Jared, or the boys, I just can't shake off the feeling of being loved by so many people. And for that minute, I let myself forget about all the bad things and thought off all the good ones. After my guardian, which I found out his name was Drew, and his dad was Cain, I sprawled across the large bed. I stared at the blank roof and thought of what Luke is probably doing. Is he looking for me? Does he even know I left? Thoughts swirled around my head and I cleared it, not wanting to get a headache. Something I had forgotten to ask Drew was what his dad was going to do to me. Is he going to rape me? Torture? What does he want? My thoughts were interrupted when someone knocked on the door. Come in, I say loud enough for the person to hear. The door opens with a quiet creak and Drew steps back in. My eyebrows furrow in confusion. My dad wanted me to give you clean clothes so you can get dressed and you're allowed to shower. He awkwardly handed me a black crop top, white shorts, and on top a pair of underwear and bra. I blushed as I grabbed them from him. Thanks, I smile shyly. Yeah, he trailed off. We stood in a silent, tense atmosphere, and that's when I decided to ask him. Why does your dad want me? Drew was taken aback, and he thought quietly for a moment until he stepped directly in front of me. He cupped my face and lifted it, so I was staring at his dark blue eyes with specks of green around the edges. My dad needs you. He has been looking for you for a long time. But why me? I breathed out. You are important, Jenna. You are practically the princess of all werewolves. Trust me when I say that you are extremely important and powerful. My dad wants you because he pulled a look of disgust. He wants you to have his children. He wants to create a race in which hybrids rule. He wants to be the ruler, and according to him, you're the one for him. The race would be powerful, seeing as how it would both have aspects of a hunter and werewolf. He is crazy, Jenna. He had lost it. He wants to marry you by force, and he will make you bear his children. He reached his thumb to my face and wiped away a tear I hadn't realized I cried out. I'm going to protect you, Jenna. Trust me. I will get you to your mate, and you won't ever have to deal with something like this ever again. What about you? I whisper through tears. What's going to happen to you? Don't you have a mate? My mate is safe and far from here. She is hidden somewhere secretly. I visit her monthly, and I have explained everything to her. Okay, I trust you, Drew. I smile weakly. He leans down, and I close my eyes as he places a soft kiss onto my forehead before whispering that he has to go and closes the door behind him. I trudge to the bathroom, in which is inside the room, and lock it so no one would bother me. As I shower in hot water, I think of what Drew said. His dad is just using me as a baby maker. All he cares is for the children he wants me to bear. If he thinks he can do that, he had another thing coming. Luke, Crystal whimpers. What's wrong? I whimper back. Luke, she repeats in pain. What's happening? In that moment, a surge of pain shoots in my left arm, and I gasp in pain. I quickly turn off the water and wrap myself in a towel using my right arm. Crystal, what's happening? I ask in pain. Luke, I feel another surge of pain shoot through my right leg this time. A silent tear rolls down my face. Luke is hurt. I dry as fast as I can and change. ignoring the pain in both my arm and leg. Crystal, where is he? He's fighting hunters and he's close by, she whines in fear. I speed out the door of the room and without thinking start running down the endless halls. 30 minutes after getting lost multiple times and running into walls, I find myself spotting the front door, and I think to myself that these hunters are stupid. Yet again, pain shoots in my chest and I choke on air. I try to catch my breath, but it feels like someone is choking me. As fast as it was put there, it leaves. The pain doesn't completely leave, but it doesn't stop me from picking up my pace. I smile in hope as I reach the door. Before I could open it, a large hand grasps me from behind and smashes me against their rough chest. A humorless laugh escapes the thirst of the man I wish to just get as far away as possible. You should know better, sweetheart. Cain mocks as he blows into my neck. A chilling cold fills me and my eyes start to get blurry from the pain. I yelp as I feel pain in my stomach from Luke fighting. My eyes start to droop close and I try hard to keep the open. Luke, Crystal whines lowly. No, I whisper, and somehow in that moment I break out of Cain's grip. Fuck you, I spit and start to run out the door. I feel people following me and I continue to think of Luke. He's my motivation. I start to get tired and slow my pace. Worst mistake ever. I get tackled on the ground and I look up in half-closed eyes to see Cain straddling me with a look of anger. Oh, I can't wait until you wake up. You are getting punished for the first time, sweetheart. Cain smiled while looking me up and down and resting his eyes at my chest. Before I know, I fall into unconsciousness. Jenna, I heard a voice I knew all too well echo in the darkness. Luke? I asked/yelled. Where are you? I turned my head rapidly, looking in the pitch black, trying to see any movement or a shape. Jenna. Luke's voice was louder. Luke? I yelled back as I cautiously started moving around in the darkness. I squinted my eyes as a bright light was seen up ahead. Without a single thought, I jump in it. My eyes automatically close due to the intense light. Wind whirled around me, and next thing I know, I am on something soft yet pointy. Carefully opening an eye, I see grass. What? Jenna. Luke sounded close. Too close. I could practically feel him around me. I open both my eyes this time and sit up. My eyes widen as I see where I am. Sitting in the center, I glance around and see that I am in a meadow. It's absolutely beautiful. I could feel the vibe of happiness just hit me. Trees seated in the wind as the birds chirped around in perfect harmony. In the distance, you could hear water currents hitting onto the grassy shore of a river bank. The grass and flowers danced along to the whistles if the wind. Luke? I breathed out in relief as I reached out my shaky hand to his face. Jen, he breathed back. I cupped his right cheek and brought his head down to lay my forehead against his. Silent tears streaked down my face, knowing clearly that this was all my imagination. None of this was reality. What's wrong, Jenna? Luke panicked. I tried to force a smile, but it just made me cry harder. You aren't real, I whispered. You're just a dream. My voice cracked at the end. I felt a hand lift me up, and I stared at Luke's pitch dark brown orbs stare blankly back at me. Slowly, the dream started to fade away, and I stared in sadness as the world started to fall apart. The moment it did, I was no longer unconscious. She's awake, Master. I sit up and start to cry as I realize it truly was a dream. Luke really wasn't there. He never was. Crystal, is he all right? Yeah, he is. He's just hurt, but don't worry, he's almost fully healed, and he is heading here today in the afternoon, so be prepared. I could feel my lips twitching in a small smile. He is coming. Luke's coming for me. How are you feeling? I was snapped out of my trance as I noticed that Cain was now in front of me. What do you think? I snapped. My head swished to the side in shock. The metallic taste lingered on my lip. He just slapped me. I growled menacingly and lunged at him. He hadn't expected me to regain my strength so fast, seeing as how we flew back. I slammed Cain against the wall, denting it. Don't ever touch me again, I yell. Between each word, I slammed his head against the wall. I could hear rushed footsteps coming here, and I wasted no time, and I quickly ran out the door. I followed the same path as I took last time I tried to escape, and as I reached my destination, someone lunged at me. I was quick and threw them off of me, making them fly to the other side of the hallway. I got you, bitch! A man from behind grabbed my arm. Wrong move. I growled and whirled around and swung a punch, landing on the side of his face. The man's face twists in pain, but he holds on to me. I lift up my right leg and knee him, and once he bends over, I elbow him down. I hear multiple voices chasing me, and I continue to run even faster. Zooming past the door, I reach outside and continue dashing. I shift and allow my wolf to take me far from here. After a while, I feel no movement or people following me, so I shift back. As I was about to ask Crystal where Luke is, I hear a branch snap. "Who is there?" I speak loud and confident. "Jenna." A voice I thought wasn't real spoke in relief. Tears prickled behind my eyes and I ran straight into Luke's arms. "Luke," I cling tightly to his shirt. Breathing in his masculine scent, I force myself to not cry. "God, Jenna, thank God you are all right. I don't know what I would have done if you were hurt at all." I could feel wetness deep through Luke's shirt, and I didn't let myself be quieted from my sobs. "I love you, Jenna," Luke cried. "I am completely in love with you, Jenna Summers." I could feel my tears of sadness turn into happy ones. "I love you too, Luke, with all my heart." He reached down and lifts my chin up. Hesitantly, we both lean in and let our lips savor each other. It might have only lasted a second, but in that second, I could feel emotions that were indescribable, one being love. Behind us, I heard clapping. Well, well, look who it is, boys. Mr. Big Bad Alpha and his squad of dogs. I lift my head to see that indeed Blake, my brother, and the others were there all along. Then that means that they were there the while time I kissed Luke. It's sad how you couldn't just hand her over. I guess we will just have to fight for her. The war will be in 2 days from now at this same spot. It will take place at noon. If you fail to show up, I will attack you and I will kill you. See you soon, Jenna. I stared in shock as the retreating forms of the hunters and Cain headed back to the weird, creepy place. Once they are out of sight, Blake and the others make their way to me. They all hug me and I hug the back, letting sobs rake through my body. "I love you guys so much," I blubbered. "Shh, Jenna. Everything is all right now. Don't worry." Jared rubbed my back soothingly. That's what I was worried about, though. Everything is not all right. There's a war soon, and we will have to win no matter what. That day, we headed back, and Luke made me sleep. I did, however, overhear that Luke is making the pack train even the women just to be sure. I smiled at the thought of him trying to teach the women. He is definitely going to struggle. I rolled over and stared at the clock, 6:30 p.m. I groaned in annoyance for not being able to sleep and got out the bed. I quickly changed into a pair of high-waisted shorts and a white loose top with slits on the sides. My bra was slightly visible since it was black. I pulled my hair in a high ponytail and jogged downstairs. I went outside and saw as how the women had already gone home and only the male and female warriors had stayed. Making my way to were very demanding. Luke was I wrapped my arms from behind him. He immediately relaxes under my touch. "Babe, they have had enough training today. They can continue tomorrow. Plus, you don't want them to be tried when the war starts, do you?" I ask with concern. I hear him sigh. "Okay, you guys can go home." He yells and a few members shoot me a thankful smile. I send them a warm smile back and follow Luke as he heads back to the pack house. We enter his room instead of mine, and he mutters about how he has to shower and he'll be out in a bit. As I wait for him, I start to think of all the possibilities that could go wrong in 2 days. "What are you thinking about?" I jump in surprise and hit Luke playfully on the chest. "You scared the shit out of me." I smiled softly. "But you love me," he teased. "Love is a strong word. I wouldn't say I love you," I taunted. His face held no humor. My eyes widened, and I hoped he didn't take it seriously. I scowled as he burst out laughing. "Your face," he laughed loudly. "Shut up." I groan and cover my face with my hands. I feel him chuckle. He moves so that he is straddling above me with only a towel on and removes my hands from my face. "Don't hide that beautiful face from me," he breathed out. I closed my eyes as his smell washed over me. When I opened my eye back up, I was shocked to see him so close to my face. "I love you, Jenna." "I love you too," I answered. We bent our heads together and kissed. Butterflies erupted in my stomach and pleasant tingles shot through my mouth and core. I ached for him. My wolf and I needed him. I removed my lips from his to take a deep breath. "I want you," I shakily whisper. I feel Luke tense as he stays frozen on top of me. Just forget it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was cut off by him crushing his lips against mine. I want you too, he answered with a lustful gaze. I shivered in pleasure and reached my hands up to wrap around his neck. Then prove it, I state. He wasted no minute and slammed his mouth against mine in a rough yet sweet way. I twisted my hands in his hair and yanked on the edges. Come with me, he whispered as he kissed me passionately. I let myself release and he rolls off of me to lay on his back. Luke pulled up the covers around us and wrapped an arm around my waist. I love you way more than you think, Jenna. Our love is infinite, and I can't wait to see you in the future having my children and getting married with me. My eyes widened. Did he just? Luke, I think it's a bit too soon to be talking about marriage and children. We are still young and going to school. I want to wait until we are older than 20, I explained. I'll wait forever for you, he murmured as he placed a kiss onto my bare shoulder. He pulled me close to him and buried his face deeply in my sweaty hair. I yawn and start to close my eyes. Last thing I hear from him is two simple words. Night, babe. I giggle quietly, seeing as how it isn't even night anymore, but more like morning. And he will have to get up in a few hours to start training. Night, I whisper back even though I could hear his even breaths as he slept. I snuggled my back into his chest and sighed in content. Maybe we can win this war and no one will be injured. Will Jared fight with us? What am I saying? Of course he will. I smile softly and let myself be taken to dreamland even if it's for a few hours. I woke up to Luke shaking me and telling me that pack training starts in 15 minutes. I nodded my head and made my way to the shower. I quickly showered and changed in a pair of black short shorts and a white crop top. Underneath was a bright neon pink sports bra that could be seen through the shirt. I tied up my hair up in a high ponytail, which I only do in training and exercising. It'll be different letting everyone see me with my hair up. I apply no makeup, but I do wash my face. I'm just glad that I'm pretty with or without makeup. I slip on a pair of black running shoes and speed down the stairs of the pack house. I zoom past the kitchen and grab a banana. I start to peel it as I head to the backyard where the rest of the pack is at. Everyone was split into pairs, and they were fighting each other in hand-to-hand combat. A twitch at my mouth made me realize I was holding back a smile. Jenna! Turning around, I spot Blake, Jared, Luke, and the guys waving me over. I run in their direction, and when I get there, I hug everyone and lay against Luke as he begins to speak. So are you guys sure you're ready? He asks, directing towards Blake and the guys. Positive. We train enough to know that we are ready. Although Trey and Zach could need a bit more help on their wolf, Blake murmured the last part. Before Luke could respond, I cut in. Well, in that case, Blake, you go with Zach, and I'll take Trey. Luke stared at me in disbelief. I'm sorry, did I miss something? I thought I was alpha, he half playfully spoke. I lightly laughed and patted his right cheek. Keep dreaming. Okay, so the fight is tomorrow at noon, and we have all day to increase Trey and Zach's fighting skills while in wolf form, Blake said. Then what are we waiting for? Luke and Jared train your packs. Blake, you help Zach, and I will help Trey. Randy, you should come with me, I ordered. I then noticed I had used my alpha command over them. Sorry, I whispered apologetically. Okay then, Luke spoke up, breaking the tension. Yeah, let's go, Trey, I said quickly and grabbed Trey's hand. He followed silently behind me as I looked around, trying to find the perfect spot for us to fight and train. Jenna, don't go too far, Randy reminded me. Okay. I stopped after we got to a secluded spot from the rest of both Pax and Blake. Trey, I don't want you to get hurt, because I love you too much to lose you. And because of my love for you, Randy and I will train you as much as possible today, so you'll be prepared for tomorrow. First, we will go over your stealth, and I'll be helping you. You have to race me to the other side of the woods, to the very far side of my territory. Are you ready? I asked as I positioned myself to run. Yes. Okay. 2, 1. I shout, and we both take off. Trey and I meet head-on, and I speed up without breaking a sweat. I start to worry as I see him start to lose his breath quickly and sweat. My concern vanishes as soon as he breaks into a sprint and passes me. I smile softly and pick up my pace. Soon enough, I pass him again, and once I reach the end of the territory, I am still energetic and non-sweaty. On the other hand, Trey is covered sweat and panting. How come you aren't tired? He pants out. I laugh lightly. I'm stronger and faster than you, silly. I was born to be able to withstand this. Not fair, he says. Once again, I laugh and push him so he'll face back to where we came from. You'll have to do better this time since we are running back. He starts to cough violently and I pat his back. Are you okay? Run back, he squeaks. Hee, yeah. I smile and tap his back. Let's go, Trey. Without any other warning, I take off once again. I beat him back to where we began. So for stealth, you are good. For other wolves, they would have fainted by now or quit halfway. But since you are a pure white, you withstood it, and that is excellent, I explained with pride. Take a sip of water, and let's hand you over to Randy. After Trey gulped down a bottle of water, he went with Randy, who would be teaching him how to use his opponent's attacks against them. I sit on the grass and watch as Trey is knocked off his feet and thrown down. My eyebrows furrow in. Trey is the youngest, meaning he will be the one who will struggle the most when we fight against the hunters. I'll have to keep a better eye out for him. I don't want to lose him, and especially to the hunters. I promise myself I won't allow him to get hurt. Jenna, it's your turn again. I open my eyes and look around. I hadn't realized I had closed them or lay back. Okay, I would be fighting Trey to see if he was ready for the war or not. Trey positioned himself in front of me as I stood up and did the same. Droplets of sweat slid across his forehead, and I smiled as I took notice of his face, which was in look of determination. 3, 2, 1, Randy yelled loudly. Trey and I locked around each other and moved in circles, seeing who would be daring enough to make the first move. Who's winning? I heard a voice from behind. Zach. No one. They just started. Who won in your battle? Randy asked. It was getting hard to pay attention to the fight and listening to the conversation going on. Blake, obviously, I heard Zach mutter. Hey, I might have won, but you were awesome at fighting. Blake pitched in. I smiled slyly that disappeared as soon as I was thrown far. As I flew, I performed a backflip and landed on my feet. Looking up, I saw everyone, including both packs, forming a circle where Trey and I were fighting. They probably finished their training. It is 7 p.m., Carolyn said. Damn, this day has been going fast. You better not hurt her, Trey. I heard Luke growl playfully, but there was seriousness in it. Shut up, Luke. I can take care of Misa. The air I was using to speak was taken out of me as I felt a punch in my stomach. I stumbled backwards, and for some reason that punch hurt more than it should have. Before Trey could swing again, I kicked him off his feet and swung a kick onto his right rib. Trey fell back before fixing himself. He lunged for me, and I let him tackle me. Right when we almost fell onto the ground, I flipped us over and swung a punch across his face. Blood trickled from his lip, and he licked it off. Trey lifted up both his legs and sprung them out onto my chest. I flew off him and landed a couple yards away from Luke. Really, Trey? My boobs got hurt from that, I yelled at him. Luke lowly growled, and I knew he was holding himself back from hurting Trey. I dusted myself off and told Trey to shift so I could fight him while in wolf form. Are you sure, Jenna? I didn't even fight Zach with his wolf, Blake asked with concern. I'll be fine, I spoke. Trey nodded his head once before shifting into his spotless white wolf. He ran straight to me, and I stood still, waiting for the perfect time. Jenna? The guys yelled in unison as Trey got really close to me. I furrowed my eyebrows in concentration and focused. As Trey got close enough, I lifted my hands up and grabbed the fur from his neck and threw him behind me. Sweat trickled from my neck, and I wiped the sweat from my face. Trey fell onto his side and whimpered. He limped back up and shifted to human. Damn it, you win. I think you hurt my right rib too much today. Sorry, I smiled sheepishly. It's all right if you give me a piggyback ride. He smiled mischievously. I groaned. Get on. I bend over and wait for him to climb on to stand back up. Hold on tight. It won't be my fault if you fall off. Trey wrapped his arms around my neck and his legs around my waist. I laughed and ran up to the guys. Trey, what are you doing on top of my little sister like that? Jared teased. I'm hitching a ride. What does it look like? He retorted back in a snippy tone. We all laughed. Okay, come on. We should head back in and rest for tomorrow, a sobered-up Luke said. Everyone, you can go home now. Training is over. Tomorrow is the war at noon, and we will meet in front of my pack house. Don't be late. Be here by 10. Luke spoke over our laughter from Trey's voice. I'm going to die from your weight if we don't get inside, I giggled. Onwards, my trusty steed, Trey yelled as he slapped my butt. Did you just slap my butt? Did you just slap her butt? Luke and I asked simultaneously with shock. A blush spread across Trey's face and neck. No. I mean, yes. Wait, no. I cut him off by laughing hard. Don't sweat it, Trey. You're practically a younger brother to me. Now hold on, I'm about to run. Automatically, Trey held on tighter and I took a deep breath before dashing off to the pack house. Once I get there, I drop off Trey and try to catch my breath. I'm going to sleep now. I'm too tired. I didn't get to finish my sentence since I fainted. I could hear the panic yelling of Trey as he called for the guys. All else was drowned, and I found myself falling into darkness once again. For some unknown reason, when Trey had punched me in the stomach, I've been having an unbearable pain, and when we fought, I felt nauseous. What's wrong with me? Am I sick or what? I didn't feel like this 2 days ago. You'll find out soon enough, a sweet melodic voice whispered. The moon goddess? Mom, Crystal murmured. So, it was the moon goddess. What does she mean by finding soon? I want to know now. I need to know if I'm going to die or something. What's going to happen to me? When I woke up, the first thing I did was hold my stomach. That was weird. It felt like a reflex, as if it was an instinct. I wonder why. I mean, there should be a logical explanation as to why I held my stomach rather than my head, which was currently throbbing. Maybe I am just overthinking it? Yeah, that's it. I warily glanced around and noticed I was in Luke's room. We hadn't moved in together yet, but I was pretty sure that we will and very soon. Beside the bed was a small bedside table with a cup of water resting on it. I felt like hugging whoever left some pain pills beside the water. Quickly swallowing down only one of them, I gulped down the water. I slipped off the bed and steadied myself when I almost fell. Speed walking my way out the door, I yell, Luke? Jared? Blake? No reply. Zach? Trey? Randy? Anyone? I panicked. As I rounded a hallway corner, I jumped in fear. There standing was Zach with a guarded expression. Zach, what's going on? I asked. Shh, he hissed and placed a hand tightly over my mouth. I fought against him, but he tightened a grip on me and hauled me into a closet that was near. Once he locked it, he faced me. Long story short, when you fainted, we decided to not call the pack doctor, seeing as how you were probably exhausted. Luke wanted you in his room, so when you woke up, we would be near you, and you would be in a familiar place. Turns out, you slept too long, and we fell asleep waiting for you. I was the first to wake up when I heard the pack alarm sounding. He had stopped talking. Continue, I rushed him. Shh, do you hear that? We stood still for a good 10 minutes until he continued to explain the situation. He spoke softer than last time. We are being attacked, Jenna. Everyone went off to fight off the hunters. They lied and secretly attacked us when we were sleeping. I offered to stay behind and wait for you to wake up so that I could protect you. By the time he had finished, I had my jaw slack. Why didn't you wake me up? I can help. I'm not injured or anything. I was just really tired. Please, Zach, you have to take me to the fight, I begged. I don't know, he said insecurely. His eyes were showing doubt. Zach, you know I can handle myself. Please, I'm powerful and I have a stronger chance of beating the hunters than Luke has. You know that, I pointed out. Fine, he caved in. I fist-pumped the air, silently cheering myself on. Zach shot me a glance that read weirdo and grabbed a hold of my hand. He led me outside the pack house, and I was quiet until we passed the front of the house. Not able to contain my shock, I gasped. Most of the trees were cracked open as if a tornado had gone through them. Dead hunter bodies lay sprawled across the field, and beside them was their weapons. I could feel rage as I took notice of a few werewolves cut open or bleeding profusely. This has gone too far, and I'm going to make them pay for what they have done. Once we entered the woods, we both shifted and dashed off in the direction where the fight was taking place. We're close. Just please take care of yourself. Zach mind-linked me with concern, lacing his tone. I will, I spoke back with confidence. The clearing was hardly the same. I mean, the fight was where it was supposed to originally take place, but the difference was that it was now stripped bare from trees. The ground was covered in a dark blood and bodies, both werewolves and hunters, laid against trees and each other. No, it wasn't in friendship. It was more in, I died killing you. In the distance, I spotted all pack warriors fighting against a large mob of hunters. Jared was tearing apart a young hunter. Blake and Trey were back to back and fighting up to 5 hunters at the time. Luke and Randy were solo and flying through the hunters, killing them on sight. Are you ready? Zach asked. Yes. With nothing else to say, we both ran straight towards the hunters. From the corner of my eye, I saw Zach helping out the pack. I had gotten distracted by Zach. I had forgotten I was running straight into the mob of hunters. My front hit the strong chest of a man, and I steadied myself from almost falling. Well, look who I found. A helpless little girl, he spat. There's only one thing I can do with you, he smiled cynically as he pressed our lower parts together. I let out a ferocious growl, and he seemed shocked. Don't ever touch me like that again, I spoke through clenched teeth. Without any warning, I raised my right knee and slammed it between his legs. A painful grunt escaped his lips as he fell onto his knees. I was not going to waste any more time with him, so as any logical wolf would do, I tore his neck out and spat it far away. Try touching me now, bitch. I spat out blood. You little slut. A young boy, who looked 16, ran up to me. He had a dagger coated in wolfsbane above his head as he lunged at me. I slid underneath him and stood up from behind him. I knocked him off his feet and he fell to the floor with an oomph. He scurried up off his feet. You think you can just kill my older brother like that and get away with it? He yelled. My eyes widened at the information. I didn't know the man was his older brother. But life isn't fair, and his people tried to kill Randy. I dished out my second thoughts and lunged at the poor boy. We fell backwards and he lifted up his dagger. He let it fly down to my face, and I quickly turned my head to avoid the stab. Damn it, the boy muttered before tearing out the dagger from the ground. Just before he could stab me on the face again, I caught his hand and held it far from my face. He had at some point straddled me. I struggled underneath his handle. His hand pressured lower to my face, and I gritted my teeth in pain as it scraped against my right cheek. A sizzling pain came from it, and with all my strength turned the dagger his way and pushed it into his chest. It would surely have hit his heart, and I was right as he stumbled off of me and held the knife. Bitch, he sputtered out blood. I winced, my eyes closed, and when I opened them again, I felt cold and heartless. Without a second thought, I pulled out the knife from his chest and stabbed him twice in the stomach. The young boy fell to the floor in a heap, and I didn't dare spare a glance at him. I had killed about 20 hunters when I heard it. His painful scream tore through the air. Trey, I yelled. I had been loud enough to have the ground slightly shaking, and our pack warriors spare me a glance. I didn't care, though. Not now or never. Because at that moment, Trey had been fighting a bulky man, and with one faulty mistake, he got stabbed. Not once, but twice. No. I screamed in terror and fear. Using all my energy, I shifted and sped past everyone and headed straight to the man who had stabbed Trey. I whimpered in pain as the knife flew down and stabbed Trey in the chest. I could feel the guys approaching me, but I was faster. Just as the man lowered his knife to stab Trey for the 4th time, I jumped between them. For a whole second, I caught Trey's eyes. We stared at each other, and I knew what he wanted to say. He wanted to tell me that he loved me and everything would be okay. He knew he was going to die. His eyes fluttered closed, and as he fell backwards, I felt it. The stab I had jumped to. A howl full of pain and sorrow escaped past my lips. Not Trey, please. My gut wrenched and twisted, and at that moment a huge pain exploded throughout my stomach, and I gasped in pain as I felt the impalement of yet another stab. Not bearing what has happened, my eyes fell closed, and I could feel my breath shortening. As I fell into a dark abyss, all I could feel was numbness, because sometimes that's all you can feel. Jenna, please come back to me, my love. I need you. The guys need you. Jared needs you. Please. All I wanted to do right now was to reach out to him and hug him and never let go. But sadly, I couldn't, seeing as how I am practically immobile. It was only a while ago that I was out of the dark abyss and able to listen to my surroundings. I am able to tell when the day ends since Luke whispers goodnight and good morning at times. As far as I know, it has been a week. Every day a lady comes in and feels my stomach. She lathers it with this slimy lotion thing, which I am pretty sure is ointment or something to help me heal faster. I guess they have to check my stomach regularly because of my stab wounds. It kills me to hear Luke's sobs and cries of plead when all I can do is be still and listen. I haven't heard of anyone else except the nurse, doctor, and Luke. Not the guys or Jared. A knocking was heard through the door. Some shuffling later, a familiar voice that I have been accustomed to spoke. "We have been running tests, and according to how she is doing better than before, we approximate she will wake up soon." Dr. Marcus spoke in a masculine tone. I could hear a sharp intake of breath. "How soon?" Luke asked with hope. It's hard to say right now, and we aren't exact, but if everything turns out how we plan, she should be waking up in the next few days." Silence. Thank God. A muffled cry sounded through the air. My heart clenched in pain as I heard Luke crying. "I'll be leaving now, and don't forget to call a nurse or me for anything." The door shut, and I was once again met with Luke's heartbreaking sobs. "You hear that, Jen? Soon enough you'll be with us, and no one will ever take you away again." The need to comfort him was unbelievable. I focused and used up all my energy to slightly move my finger. Slowly it moved, and I couldn't have had felt any prouder than then. Sure, it made me tired, but at least Luke might have seen it. Hopefully he noticed that. "I have to go, Jenna, but I'll be back tomorrow. Goodbye." Luke placed a gentle kiss on my forehead and left the room quietly. "Are you serious?" I wanted to yell. All my energy washed down the drain to move, and he never saw it? "Don't wear yourself out, Jenna. He might have not seen it today, but that doesn't mean he won't see it tomorrow," Crystal whispered sympathetically. I mentally sighed. I know I can try tomorrow, but it makes me feel sad how he didn't notice any movement. I mean, seriously, does he not pay attention to me? I asked, frustrated. Of course he does, stupid. He didn't see you because maybe he couldn't surpass the tears to take realization that you moved. Maybe he had something important come up and he had to leave, she suggested. I guess you're right. I'm just a bit antsy with this whole my breath rolling. I'm in a coma situation. As far as I know, we could have been in this coma for months or maybe even years. Don't worry. There is no way months have passed, much less years, she rolled her eyes. Okay, so maybe I was exaggerating a bit too much on the years part, but can you blame me? Nope. A while after Luke had left, I fell asleep, and I promised myself that I will try harder tomorrow to move so that Luke could see. The next day. I'll call you later, Jared. Yeah, okay, I'll tell her. Bye. I've been awake for the past hours just awaiting for Luke to arrive so that I could move. Good morning, Jen. I felt a soft pair of lips touch my forehead. I have news from Jared. You won't believe it. I surely didn't. Your brother finally found his mate. I haven't met her yet, but I'm guessing that she's perfect for your brother. If I could, without a doubt, I would smile hugely for my brother. The only thing that bothers me is that I can't meet his mate. I was determined, though. I will return back, and to do that, I have to get Luke to notice me moving. It started off slowly and long, but soon enough, my right pointer finger started to lift up. He should have seen it, Crystal murmured. Jenna, you just moved, Luke stuttered. No, it can't be. You're in a coma. Damn it, no. Not caring what happens, I focus myself and pray silently for the moon goddess to give me enough energy to wake up. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. Luke sobbed as he clutched his head between his hands. Ever so slightly, my eyes started to barely open. Luke, I whispered lowly. Jen? Jen! Luke started to yell in joy. I felt drained and tired as fuck. Don't worry, Jen. I won't let anything happen to you. Nurse, doctor, come quick, Jenna woke up. Excitement bubbled in my stomach at the thought of finally being able to have my life back on track. If I could, I would have giggled from Luke's stupidity for not mind linking the pack doctor or nurse. What's going on? The pack doctor burst in through the door. It's Jenna. She opened her eyes for a while and whispered my name. He sounded like a little kid on Christmas morning. I quietly let out a laugh under my breath. Oh my, she is awake. Nurse Lillian start to pump in some fluids to get her blood active and lower her morphine dose. I'm finally going to wake up. A few minutes later, I felt way better. Heck, I felt ready to get out of bed. Okay, so that's a lie, but I did feel better. At some point, Luke had positioned me up so I could try to wake up. Dim lights, I breathed out softly. Immediately, the light brightness was lowered, and I sighed in contempt when I opened my eyes. I looked around and spotted Luke sitting in a chair beside the bed. His eyes had dark circles around them, and he looked pale. I guess he hadn't been getting any sleep lately. I switched my gaze over to the nurse and doctor. The doctor was a middle-aged man with darkish brown hair. The nurse, however, looked young. Around 25, I would say. After giving Luke a once-over, I smiled shyly at him. "Luke!" "Jenna," he sighed with relief. He stood up and scooped me up in his arms without messing up my IV. "I love you so much, Jenna. So much. Please don't ever go and get hurt again. It kills me to see you like this." Luke had set me down on his lap while on the bed. I turned to the side and placed a gentle kiss on his chest. "Never. Can I see my brother?" I croakily asked. "I already called them, babe. They'll be here in a few minutes. Here's some water for your throat." Butterflies erupted in my stomach when he called me babe. I greedily accepted the water and chugged it down. Just as I was about to open up my mouth to talk, people rushed into the room. "Jenna!" Loud yells filled the room. I was bombarded with all the guys and Jared. "Jared," I grinned as he pulled me into a hug. "Jenna," he cried. "I'm sorry I didn't come see you. Luke said it was for the best, and I never understood that. Oh my God, we have so much catching up to do. I found my mate, and you won't believe how much I already love her." He rambled on and on. "Jared, take a breath. I can't wait to catch up and meet your mate." "You don't have to wait later. She's here, actually." My eyes widened in surprise, and Jared went out the room and came back a minute later, hands in hands with a petite blonde. She was pretty. Not top gorgeous or ugly, but average. Her short blonde hair framed her small face, and she had a pair of brown eyes. Her lips were small and pink. She was small also, so small that she was probably shorter than me. No curves were present, but that didn't make her look bad, seeing as how she had that type of body that made her look fragile. Her waist was tiny, and she was dressed in a pair of dark skinny jeans and a loose white t-shirt. She had paired her outfit up with some white Converse. "Hi," she smiled sheepishly. "My name is Daniela, and I'm your brother's mate." Her voice was delicate and small. "Good luck with that. All I can say is that you need to pray daily for this guy," I teased as I ruffled Jared's hair. Daniela let out a small giggle as Jared playfully glared at me. "Anyways, I have to go baby sis, but I'll see you later. Danny and I are going to the movies, and I assume you want to have some time with your other brothers, so see you soon." Placing a kiss on my forehead and messing up my hair, he skipped out the room with Daniela in tow. I shook my head in disbelief. "Jenna, why so much neglection?" a voice whined. I laughed loudly and turned to see Zach with a pout on his face. "Sorry to break it to you, Zach, but she's mine and I get all her attention," Luke smugly spoke. Zach frowned. "What are you talking about? Jenna is mine and bitches like you can't have her." He snapped his fingers in a Z. Guys, it's awesome to see you, but where's my baby?" I asked jokingly. Right away, tension grew in the room. "Who told her?" Luke whispered harshly to the guys. My eyebrows scrunched. What the hell is he angry about? "Luke, chill out. No need to be jealous. Randy is just my brother." I laughed awkwardly. "Wait, what? Randy is my baby. I thought you knew this." I trailed off. Realization hit him like a brick, and he smiled fakely. "Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay." Luke was acting weird. "So Randy, how have you been?" I asked, smiling widely. "Sucky. You haven't been around, which blowed, but now you are, and that's all that matters to me." "Awe, I love you, baby." "I love you too," Randy muttered embarrassingly. Shooting him a wink, I face Blake. He gestures for me to get close, and I wiggle out of Luke's grip and into Blake's. "I missed you so much," I breathed in his masculine scent. It smelled homey, and I missed my home. Reluctantly, I had to pull away, and I asked the question which had been nagging Crystal and I. "What did I miss?" The guys exchanged glances, and the guys nodded before leaving the room and shutting the door closed. Why did they leave? I asked as Luke placed me on the bed and moved to sit in front of me. "Listen, Jenna, you have to be calm at what I'm about to say." Why would I have to be calm? Ignoring me, he spoke the two words I hadn't expected.